Sorry, sorry, sorry. Someone steps on your foot, and you apologize. You bump into a chair, and you say sorry to an inanimate object. You start a perfectly normal email with, "Sorry to bother you." You aren't apologizing because you made a mistake. You are apologizing because you feel like an inconvenience. For some people, saying sorry has become almost automatic. Someone holds the door open for them, and instead of simply saying, "Thank you," they say, "Sorry." A driver waits patiently while they cross the street, and once again, they apologize. In a meeting, in a message, when asking a question, when asking for help, sorry becomes the first word they reach for. But why? Is it really just about being polite? Sometimes it is, but often it's something deeper. For many people, constant apologizing isn't about manners at all. It's about the way they learned to see themselves. For some, saying sorry became a way to stay safe, a way to avoid conflict, a way to prevent anger, a way to protect themselves from criticism. And the strange thing is, many people who apologize too much didn't consciously choose this habit. They learned it over time. Maybe they grew up in an environment where mistakes were met with harsh reactions, constantly criticized, compared to others, or made to feel like they were never quite enough. Over time, they learned that expressing their feelings only created more problems. So, as children, they simply took on the role of the peacemaker. They discovered that apologizing, even when they weren't wrong, could make situations calmer. It could stop arguments. It could reduce tension. And eventually, that response became automatic. Years later, they carry the same habit into adulthood. They apologize for speaking, for asking questions, for having basic needs. Even setting boundaries feels like a mistake. Sometimes they apologize just for feeling what every human being naturally feels. And slowly, something changes. Instead of asking, "Did I actually do something wrong?" their mind starts asking, "How is this my fault?" Living with that question all the time is exhausting. Imagine feeling responsible for every uncomfortable moment around you. Someone looks upset, and you immediately wonder if you caused it. Someone sends a short message, and you start analyzing what you might have done wrong. Someone becomes distant, and you replay every conversation in your head. Little by little, unnecessary guilt becomes part of your daily life. And over time, that guilt begins to affect your confidence. You find it harder to say no, harder to express your opinions, harder to disagree, harder to ask for what you need. Because somewhere inside, there is a fear. What if they get disappointed? What if they reject me? What if they think I'm too much? But there is something important to understand. Being kind does not mean constantly blaming yourself. Being respectful does not mean making yourself smaller. A healthy apology has a purpose. It happens when you truly hurt someone, make a mistake, or need to take responsibility. But apologizing for your existence, for your feelings, for your needs, or for things you have no control over, that isn't kindness. That is guilt. And carrying unnecessary guilt is heavy. The good news is, this pattern can be changed. The next time you feel the word sorry coming out, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, did I actually do something wrong? Or am I apologizing because I feel uncomfortable? Sometimes, one small change can make a big difference. Instead of saying, "Sorry I'm late," try, "Thank you for waiting for me." Instead of, "Sorry to bother you," try, "Thank you for your time." Instead of, "Sorry for asking," try, "I appreciate your help." At first, it might feel strange because you are changing a habit that may have existed for years. But every time you choose not to apologize for something that isn't your fault, you teach yourself something important. Your voice matters. Your feelings matter, your needs matter, and your presence matters. Remember, you don't have to make yourself smaller just to make other people comfortable. You don't have to carry blame that was never yours, and you don't have to apologize simply because you exist. Sometimes healing doesn't start with a huge transformation. Sometimes it starts with one small choice. Choosing not to say sorry when there is nothing to apologize for. Because confidence isn't about being the loudest person in the room, it's about knowing that you deserve to be heard. Without apologizing first. If this video made you see sorry differently, share it with someone who always apologizes, even when they don't need to. Maybe it will remind them of something important. They never had to apologize for simply being themselves.